Yeah, it has been a lot closer in terms of, one side we're seeing great challenges, great demo plays from Virtuoso, and then they go on defense and the rotations are just completely cut off. So I think it's going to be a mix of how we're going to see them really maintain consistency, as that has been their big struggle point all throughout this season.
Well, game one, 20 seconds under the gun. And it's Cooks here looking for Arju. Virtuoso narrowly avoiding a demo. And we'll see what Mousesports is able to accomplish with the new kid on the block. Relating wave, looking to find a centering opportunity as Endpoint definitely going for the demo plays into the middle, and it's a free ball for Cooks here. Arju very patient on his own half as he watches this flip reset come at him. Big miss, and Virtuoso trying to put the squeeze on him, see if he gets antsy. Some early tests here for Arju. Run him through the paces.
Yeah,
the flip reset, get the strong clear off the backboard. What else is coming at him?
I mean, I'm kind of curious as to what position they're going to throw Arju in on the offensive side, because I think most of the time for a team with a new player who's either a sub in there, you're just going to tell him to be aggressive. This is going to be Cooksier and Speed trying to work around Arju instead of forcing him to adapt to their play style. This is really going to be a lot of, weight on Speed and Cooks' shoulder as they get a couple opportunities here on the Endpoint side of defense.
Well, he did just that. You said be aggressive, and there he was trying to follow up on a great setup from Speed, and now he's looking to push out of his own half. Not a lot of help, though. All to empty space, and Relating Wave will return fire, pops it high. Arju in an awkward spot. Virtuoso there to put the pressure on. Backboard touch, and unfortunately takes it away from Nachitao. And that means Cooksier with a free dribble. The backflip touch. Speed going to keep the pressure going for Mouz. Straight down the middle, and Virtuoso going to just cleanly take that out to the side wall. Easy enough play for Endpoint on defense. And 2 minutes deep into game one. Neither team able to really put a ton of pressure on anybody per se. Speed going far left to steal away that corner boost. Cooks here to try and keep the play going, and Arju again, great aggressive follow-up. Just really trying to put the pressure on Endpoint. And I dare say you're right. Just try and have Arju be that solid follow-up with a beautiful clear from his own corner. An easy save for Virtuoso.
Yeah, it's just going to be a lot easier to mold and kind of blend in your style as long as you can throw Arju forward, because you're not really going to be too confused as Speed and Cooks here as to where his position is, so long as he's the one being aggressive. It's a much easier slot to fill. But right now, I think they're doing a great job of, flooding this ball into the corner, keeping possession. And right now, you can see they're also just trying to take these corner boosts. Arju right there, rotating out around the boost, trying to starve out everything Endpoint have to offer.
Well, what this also will allow is Cooksier will have a chance to rotate back into that comfortable third-man role that he's been for a while. There's a miss, and Arju keeps the pressure on. Here comes Cooksier to clean up, and a great recovery from Endpoint to get that ball out of danger. I thought for sure Cooksier coming in strong there would be able to finish that ball off, but about to hit a minute 30 remaining, and Relating Wave looking to draw first blood. Arju off his crossbar, Nachito to follow up, and he makes that save too, and Johnny Boy wasn't kidding. He's got the mechanics. That's a wonderful save. Another chance for Virtuoso, as Relating Wave will just put that towards the net, and Endpoint are going to clear out.
Right off the bat, we get a nice little display of what Arju has to offer. We can see him off the back of the net, gets that save. A great play from him. That initial defensive stop was a little bit difficult, but he recovered in the net. And like you said, Achieves, I mean, he definitely has the mechanics to at least maintain speed and, at least ability with these top-tier players.
Speaking of speed, he just had a chance to pass the ball to Cooksier. Went for the straight shot. Relating Wave dishes it off to Nachitao, and that is a Endpoint will finally draw first blood. Took them 4 minutes, but they get it done.
And this was gorgeous field recognition from Relating Wave. You can see all that space that was just given to him on the defensive side of Mouz. He took advantage of it, dribbled it down, very calm and collected, and then just tossed it out into the middle for a simple play that we've seen multiple times throughout the season. But executing that and having the awareness is really what it comes down to.
Mouz looking to equalize here at the end. Speed with a little fake cut. Goes left. Cooksier tries to drill it home, and Virtuoso there to shut him down. Arju keeping the pressure up. And Relating Wave, who is, despite Endpoint's poor record, had a fantastic season in terms of setting up a lot of great scoring opportunities and putting the ball away.
I mean, it's also been his striking. He's been the main striker, I think, for most of Endpoint, and it's always his ability to be accurate with his shots. And not only that, we've seen passes from him like we just saw previously in this first game.
And we'll see if Relating Wave is able to find a way to shut down Mousesports in their last-ditch efforts here, as he will delay in the midfield. Cooksier with a big block out to Speed. He's shoved by Virtuoso out of the way and just kicked into the corner. Tough break for Mouz. You thought maybe they'd get the fast break going. Cooksier trying to control the ball. Tao keeping the pressure up. Virtuoso, big block. Arju trying to size up where he needs to be. Ends up bumping into Speed, and the ball will drop harmlessly to the ground. Endpoint will scrape by with a Game 1 win.
And this was a great first game for Endpoint, because, you know, their main struggle throughout the season has been consistency and being able to at least maintain a lead. Even in that series they had earlier this season against, I believe it was Dignitas, I thought that they were holding their own a lot of the times, and they'd actually score first multiple times in multiple games, but it just came down to holding that lead. So they've been doing a great job here in this first game of keeping Mousesports, you know, empty-handed and making sure they can get in front of these shots.
And Cooksier kept very quiet there in Game 1. 80 score with 3 shots at 15 points apiece. That's 45 from just the shots, and the rest a clear here or there, a challenge in the midfield. And he had one big chance to try and put the game away, but I believe it was Virtuoso who made a fantastic save.
Yeah, and Virtuoso as well. You can see as he's rotating back on the defense, he's always getting physical, always getting aggressive. I love to see it. But so far for Mousesports, I mean, this is gonna happen. I think with the new sub in, we all can't expect it to be, you know, a situation like Fireburner where you can just throw Fireburner in and he's, you know, getting all these crazy clutch goals. So far, you know, there's gonna be gaps on defense. There's gonna be mistakes, and for Endpoint, their responsibility is just making sure they can punish right whenever they get those opportunities.
Well, Game 2 about to start. Mousesports looking to rally here, and Endpoint looking to keep the pressure on. A couple of great saves from Arju, and I dare say, despite the loss, a pretty good Game 1 showing.
Yeah.
Both in the aggressiveness and the defensive side, and we'll see what he does here in Game 2. We'll start off with Mousesports getting first possession. Cooksier wants a double tap, and Relating Wave up nice and early. Arju continuing the pressure here, not the greatest touch, and Tao with just a delaying hit out towards that midfield line, and Virtuoso wants to make sure that Mousesports doesn't have the boost to really go on offense. And they're sitting here in the midfield trying to size up the clear. Virtuoso one more time towards the middle off the wall, and that's a miss from Speed. Does he have any follow-up? Cooksier just got bumped in the goal line. Unfortunately, Relating Wave and Tao too far away. And so Mousesports, with a few precious extra moments, get out of an early jam and dish the ball off to Arju, and I think that ball got own goal, but either way, welcome to the RLCS.
And now we've got some confidence flowing through this man's veins. This first goal here, while it wasn't a huge banger of a shot, it was a bit of an own goal. Still, being able to put that on the net, you know, being in position for that, things looking solid so far for Mousesports. You'd love to see it. Arju finally getting involved on the offensive side.
Chance for them to get it right back, taken away by Cooksier. Speed controlling with a little bit of space on the sidewall, and that's another time. Arju's over there off to his left, and Speed struggling to really get those passes across the pitch, but he will make a nice save here. I'd like to see that vision increase and utilize more of those options, and I think Mousesports might have a bit more success.
Yeah, that's something that I think we've really been talking about a lot for Mousesports, is not only whenever they transition from defense with their clears, even on offense, it's finding teammates instead of just, you know, pointlessly dribbling forward. And, you know, you might get a solid 50, but overall you're losing possession.
It's not done yet. Relating Wave, air dribble out of his own half. Cooksier and Speed combine, get this ball out of the Mousesports corner. Air dribble from Speed, keeping it nice and high. Beautiful job. Arju just trying to get the follow-up touch. He's got Cooksier in the middle. Can he knock it down? Is Speed going to be there in time? He will be. Too late. Cooksier tries to do it himself. And Speed, now he's arrived. He's going to keep the pressure on. Big miss, and he will come home and drop the hammer. 2-0 Mouz.
This is rough. This is the inconsistency we were looking at from the defensive side. Relating Wave, he needs to get a hit there. It's a difficult read off the lip of the stadium, but in this instance, you just can't miss those right now at this high level, even though, you know, you've got a sub in against everybody on Mousesports. Speed's not going to miss that.
Relating Wave looking to stop the kickoff goal from going in. They'll keep the deficit at 2, but can they break out? Some solid rotation here from Mousesports. Open goal for Cooksier down the middle, and Speed will indeed dig it out of the corner, and there's the 3-goal lead.
Yeah, that first game, at this point, it was really just a big warm-up, and the vision that we wanted to see now from Speed, setting up his teammates, finding somebody in the midfield, the Chiefs, you talked about it earlier. Now we can see Speed kind of opening up his eyes, looking in the midfield, finding Cooks here, and utilizing the space that Endpoint might be giving up.
Endpoint, a lot to accomplish with about half the game left here. And we'll see if they can at least get the offense rolling. Goals came at a premium in game 1, a 1-0 affair. With the game winner coming at about a minute remaining. And right now, they've got 2.5 to score 3. Stuck on their own half. Cooks here across. Nice touch for Arju. And Nachitow with the virtuoso and Speed. He's just all three of them, in fact, camped on the goal line right there. Nachitow with a chance, and Arju will come across. Transition goal, and Speed just turned that one in for free. I thought for sure someone was going to be back here.
I mean, this is frustrating to watch. Relating Wave, a second miss again on the backboard, or not, excuse me, on the backboard, on the back line of the defense. Another opportunity where he just needs to get a hit. He might even be able to transition that into a solid counterattack. It's just big mechanical misses so far in game 2. And this has really been the theme so far for a lot of Endpoint's games, is we'll see them hot and on fire one time, and then the next game, you know, things just get flipped. They flip the switch, and then now they're back, you know, doing these mechanical errors, you know, frustrating rotations, and they can't find a solid clear or even a hit.
Mousesports, very comfortable lead here. As Arju, real aggressive, trying to just drop that straight down, but there's Speed for the follow-up, and game 2 truly out of reach. Mousesports commanding lead.
Yeah, this is really turning into a stomp. Relating Wave, he's on the backboard. Last man back multiple times in a row. We've been waiting on a hit for Relating Wave. A frustrating game for him. Hopefully he doesn't get tilted and bring that into the next few games. But so far, this is a confidence booster, to say the least, for Mousesports with a 5-goal lead.
We'll be looking at what Endpoint tries to accomplish moving into game 3. He played pretty well in game 1 in terms of limiting that offensive potential of Mouz in game 1, but Cooksier got a little bit more involved here, and we've been saying that all season long. If Cooksier's getting involved in the offense, good things are going to happen for Mouz. Gets 200 points and a goal here with a couple more shots to his name, and add one more to the roster. It's about 60 seconds left. It's just a walk in the park here with maybe a goal for confidence for Relating Wave, and he's going to need help from Virtuoso, and just dishes that into the corner just to beat the defense. But Endpoint, the biggest problem here in this game was so much space given. Like right there, it's a free pass out into the middle, and no one able to have any way of cutting it off, and capitalizing on a couple key whiffs on Endpoint's side, and some great passing from Mouz, as Cooksier will deliver another one for 6 goals.
I mean, to me, it just feels really mechanical on the side of Endpoint right now. Whenever you're on the backboard, there's a big demo misconception there in the corner as they get the 6th goal. 30 seconds left. This really, like I said, it's just a stomp at this point. And for Endpoint, you got to forget about the series. You just got to move on, try and build some kind of consistency. Even a goal or two here, if we can close out this game, would be nice to build on and move into the next game. But for Endpoint, I mean, it's really just prioritizing, like you said, that space, making sure you at least try and dribble it out a bit more, because now you've got Speed, who's been doing a lot of the heavy lifting, finding the passes, finding that vision in the midfield. The Cooks here shooting on point and pass backs like that. This is what I'm talking about. Mousesports, you want to see it.
Some miscommunication, or perhaps panic is a more apt word for Endpoint there on defense, but a massive game 2 from Speed. I know the joke all season long is he doesn't wake up until game 3, but I think he's definitely alive and kicking here for game 3. Almost 1,000 points on the scoreboard for Speed in game 2, as it will mercifully come to an end here.
Yeah, you love to see it. Involved with 5 out of the 6 goals. A monster game for Speed as he's coming alive here, which is very needed. You know, I think Scrub, now we can kind of talk about the play style that he was adding to the team. And it could be refreshing, really, for Mousesports, because You know, when Scrub, as a player as prestigious as him, can come onto the team, you're kind of focusing on how you can involve him. And I think Speed and Cooks here were more or less trying to work around Scrub than it was vice versa. And now that you've got Arju coming on, maybe this is more room, more breathing space for Speed to kind of do his thing and, you know, take care of the offensive side of things.
And that is two good games here for Arju now, a 600-point game on the scoreboard for him with 1 goal and 3 assists. So he's definitely seems to be fitting in quite nicely. And I think
Yeah.
it goes back to a point Wavepoint made at the start of the season when talking about players like Sathu over on the Sonics, you know, who've been, you know, fairly mediocre throughout the entirety of their RLCS career. And then they wind up on a team like the Sonics. And it could very well be, to your point, as with Speed and Cooks here working around Scrub, that maybe Arju just slots in a little bit better with how they like to play the game. And it very well could just be a case of the right person now.
Yeah. I mean, mentality is a huge thing when it comes down to this game, and just the little freshness. I mean, we don't have to be reminded too much that, you know, season 1 there was a subbing of Over Zero. Even Turbo Pulsa won a championship as being a sub. Who knows? This could be what we could see as, you know, maybe the spark that Mousesports need.
A good chance at revitalizing the offense. A bit of novelty definitely makes you perk up a little bit and pay
Always
attention a
helps.
little closer. We'll see what Endpoint does here in Game 3 to bring the series back in their favor. Big aggression out of Mousesports. Virtuoso trying to split the seam and find Relating Wave, but he's got Nachitow now in the middle. It's pretty much open, but he missed the ball, and Speed able to get a free clear. Virtuoso unable to find the double tap. And unfortunate for Endpoint in what looked like almost a guarantee. Relating Wave, one more chance, keeps it high. Virtuoso there waiting on it. And it takes him a couple extra tries, but they get it done.
And I think this is great, I guess, resilience from Relating Wave to keep rotating in even after that big miss. He got the double touch off the backboard. Virtuoso's there for the easy slot in. And that is what you love to see from Endpoint. All rotations coming in full circle around the ball. Even after a big miss, don't get too desperate. Just keep the pressure on, and you're bound to get more opportunities, which just happened. And Virtuoso, a little bit of a flip reset. Things are starting to get a little bit better now. And this is, I guess they're flipping the switch back, because we just saw previously they just got demolished. And now here come Endpoint, ready and fired up.
Definitely trying to make the big plays. Nachitow going to try and muscle that one in from above the crossbar. Relating Wave will get a little bit of ground. Cuts back in. There's the huge demo, but Nachitow already rotated out. Cooks here to keep the pressure up, and Relating Wave. Nice flick to break out. Trying to get the bump on Speed, and they're definitely trying to up the pace a little bit, at the very least, it feels like. As Cooks here off the ceiling for Arju, it's a little high, and a free ball for Endpoint. Relating Wave, kind enough to donate it right back. Speed and Nachitow now in a battle for possession. Off the ceiling, double commit from Endpoint. Speed trying to get that ball to Cooks here, just can't really get all the way around the ball and put the power on it. Cooks here's got to scramble back. Nachitow tries to go behind him. Real nice idea. And excellent defense from Cooks here to manage both options. Demo from Arju on Relating Wave, and he will spawn in the perfect position. Mousesports starting to get their grips on the ball a little more cleanly, as unfortunately Arju just gives away possession. Cooks here misses the clear. Speed is off grabbing boost, and thankfully nobody in position for Endpoint, as a nice high pop off that side wall and a free clear for Speed.
A lovely bit of hustle from Virtuoso. You could see him there. He was just free flipping across the net. He saw none of his teammates were in position. And look at the way that they're rotating around the ball, keeping everything pressed forward. Their offensive line, Nachitow, everybody really doing a great job of knowing when they need to keep the pressure forward and not rotate back too early. And right now, a great shot out to Relating Wave, who gets the pass. Virtuoso with a little pop out.
That goes back to what you were talking about. Relating Wave being such a wonderful striker for this Endpoint team. Gets out in front of the ball and knocks it down. Speed expecting the banger into the top corner. Unfortunately, Relating Wave with a bit of nice placement.
Yeah.
Slides it right under it.
It's always Relating Wave with fantastic placement. I mean, he's second best in shooting right now in the league for shooting percentage. Always so accurate, and being the main striker for Endpoint, which is, it's definitely a difficult thing to do whenever you're not granted too many great opportunities. Relating Wave always makes it look easy.
Mousesports find themselves in a fairly similar situation that they had against Endpoint in just the previous game. 2-goal deficit. just under half the game now, and it's Endpoint making sure they keep good tabs on the ball. RG trying to slow it down. Cooks here, aggressive support. Nachitao trying to beat speed. Relating Wave gets demoed, and this could be a counterattack for Mousesports. Hard pop off the sidewall. Relating Wave and a real awkward spot, and Speed with a wonderful read.
Speed, what a dunk. This kind of reminds me of the nollie dunk we saw a couple weekends ago where he perfectly read it off the car. And you can see Speed's positioning. He goes to the left of the car and the ball, only going for that dunk, reading it perfectly. A great play from him as that now they only trail by 1. This is fully possible with 2 minutes left.
Just keep yourself in it. One goal can happen at any time, be it fluke or great play, and Mousesports capable of executing or punishing as needed. Cooks here. Nice challenge in the midfield. Virtuoso just trying to see what sticks as he just throws something against the wall. Another big block, but Nachitao already back. Long clear, wasting time. Cooks here. Not the cleanest catch, but he will beat the defender either way. Arju on his own. Does he trap it? Smart play. Definitely the mindset of a ones player. Virtuoso flick through one. Speed avoiding a bump. And Endpoint keeping the pressure on, and that's a strong clear from Mousesports. Nachitao trying to go for the safety of the sidewall. Cooks here real aggressive, hoping that Arju was able to just slide that one past the defense along the wall, out into the middle, and taken away by Relating Wave. Arju's there, and again, second stop. Cooks here wants a great shot, a wonderful attempt, but not able to get the power on it. Drives it right down into the defense, and time a factor. Not sure how many more chances Mouse are going to get.
Yeah, and what a defensive statement from Endpoint. I mean, the demos from Speed, the aggression from Arju, and now the shooting from Cooks here, but they still managed to hold on here. In the final seconds, they've got about 22 to go. Just keep this ball out of hands, keep winning 50s, and don't let your rotation break.
Cooks here off the sidewall, trying to ground pinch it. Nachitao, great read. Relating Wave playing close support for his teammate. Comes up with a dribble, blocks out Speed. Cooks here. He's going to need a pinch here, and we've seen this before,
oh, no.
And he'll do it again!
No!
Cooks here could see it coming, and he pulls off the Cooks here pinch.
2 seconds left. The man who literally invented this shot does it here in the most crucial moments of the series. He ties it up. The Cooks here pinch coming into play. Oh my God, that was beautiful.
And not done yet. Overtime still looming. A massive goal from Cooks here. Disappointed he couldn't score earlier, decides to score in an even better fashion. Puts Endpoint on overtime. Relating Wave going for the bump. Cooks are able to dodge it. Nachitao getting real aggressive. It's going to be a transition play for Mouz, but how do they get this ball into the middle? Nice second touch. There's Arju. He was playing the block. Relating Wave was also playing the block, so it skips away harmlessly. Nachitao soft cat himself. Virtuoso waiting on the midfield line. It's clear. As it's Relating Wave already coming out from the other side of the field. Nice demo onto Cooks here will mean a free ball here for Endpoint. Long clear. Big stretch from Relating Wave. Speed pulls off the ball and leaves it for Arju. Virtuoso just delays the touch. Mouse will reset. Arju needs a little bit of boost. He's pushed into the goal though. And welcome clear from Cooks here. Unfortunately, it's Endpoint on the offense again, but now they're the ones not really able to find any options about where to put the ball. It's just get it out of my own half, it feels like.
Lots of huge clears right now coming out of Mousesports, and I think Virtuoso, along with his teammates on Endpoint, are struggling a bit to get that ball really across the pitch, just forcing the ball forward. All these clears are just booming to the corner, and you got to think, at what point is it going to break? And Arju, this is the sub-in who has now made the play. Clutch overtime shooting from him.
Nice bit of passing to himself from Arju. He could see the defense in front of him, and he opted to go right at him, but slightly behind him, and that just ties that defender to that near post. And he knew it was going to be an awkward bounce to try and read, so Arju just kicks it off the wall to himself in a weird spot, and then finishes it off with a beautiful shot into the back post. So from Cooks here pinch to Arju self-pass. Wow. And Mouz are up 2-1 in the series.
I mean, what a turn of events. I talked about it. All Endpoint needed to do was just win these 50s and stall out the game. But then it's like, how do you defend against a pinch like that that comes out of nowhere? The great thing about it is that Cookster hadn't been going for this pinch. It's a rare moment when things can perfectly set up where the ball rolls up to get that Cookster pinch, and then executing it is a whole nother playing field of mechanics. So Cookster bringing out a little bit of a throwback mechanic, a nice pinch out, and that's how they clutch it. It was a great play from him. And Mousesports, I thought that was Endpoint's game to win. Truthfully, I thought they held up way better than Mouse, but you just got to be frustrated.
And a second fantastic game from Speed here as well. Because, I mean, I was totally with you in terms of that was Endpoint's game to win all the way. I mean, 2 goals with 2 minutes, and they only gave up 1 with about, minute 40 on the clock or so. It's like, this is still manageable. And they had it. They had them all the way up until, like you said, the perfect scenario of circumstances all combining together to set up a Cookster pinch opportunity for Cookster, and it's all about the execution and the consistency. And if there's anyone who you're going to pick to be perfect and consistent in this league, it's going to be Cookster, and he nails the shot.
Without a doubt.
And Arju aces it in overtime. And Endpoint now down to match point. Cookster to Speed, and fortunately a miss means Endpoint get the first chance at it. Speed off the sidewall, looking for help. Actually keeps it himself, and Cookster is just trying to put the pressure on. Arju sizing up when he should go, and actually pulled out Speed at kind of the same time. There's the demo. Cookster covering up nicely, and Relating Wave already back on the goal line. Cookster just reads the game so well. I understand his team put themselves in a bit of an awkward spot. Arju trying to just finish the ball, and Virtuoso under no pressure, easy save. Arju. Awkward ball to handle off his own backboard, but Cookster wisely just brings it down for the dribble and forces a challenge in the corner. Relating Wave, one more shot on target. Virtuoso trying to get in Cookster's face and make it a tough play to make, and Gemo in the midfield means Mouse not going to have too many places on where they can put the ball and hang on to it, so Speed just trying to get aggressive.
I mean, the question now is, how will Endpoint hold up? It's still just been that game of consistency. You know, you get a lead, you get some solid rotations, some great opportunities, but then everything starts to crumble down as that timer keeps ticking. And for Relating Wave, a lot of that defensive mistakes happened out in game 2. We haven't been seeing it too much, so he's definitely picked it up there. Right now, I think if we just can get more demos, more physical plays from Virtuoso, better rotations, but it's going to be hard against those passes and Speed.
What?
The double touch off the backboard.
See Speed headed up the sidewall, and Speed says, yeah, you see me. And a beautiful read, and Relating Wave, no chance. Perfect placement from Speed. He's having a day today.
And you could see Cookster's placement as well with the passing. That clear to Speed was huge. It was a boomer. There's no interfering that. There's no intercepting it on the side of Endpoint. You just got to pray that Speed doesn't hit that shot. But now Relating Wave, the counterattack, and they've capitalized off of so much space.
Get him right back off the kickoff. Speed and Cookster not able to combine to make the big clear, and Arju definitely a little bit antsy. Jumped out of the goal, which means easy shot for Relating Wave. And a quick equalizer for Endpoint here. And this kickoff, Arju also getting real aggressive. Relating Wave just hoping one of his teammates is going to be in position. Nachitao gets beat. Virtuoso trying to delay, and here comes Arju along with Speed, and that's a demo, so Mousesports going to have to run away. Nachitao to himself. Speed uncontested here for a moment. Takes a weird skip, though, and that's a great pass from Relating Wave. Virtuoso not able to get it all the way to the left-hand side of the goal, and Mousesports able to pull it out. Speed across to the middle for Cookster, ripped into the top right, unsavable, and Cookster delivers a strike.
Speed is on fire. As soon as we mentioned in that first game, we wanted to see more vision from him. He almost listened to us. Now he's finding all his teammates in the midfield, whether it's Cookster or Arju, and it's those dribbles out. You can see Speed. He starts with the ball in the corner, transitions it forward, and then can toss the ball out into the middle. Speed doing a great job, and like I said, he's really putting the team on his back. You know, Cookster had that amazing pinch, Arju with the overtime goal, but it seems like Speed has been that solid foundation and the base for this team.
Moreau and on pace for a third straight, already at the top of the leaderboard, 333 score, 1 goal, assist, and save. And And trying to get another one there. Arju through one. Virtuoso spaced out appropriately to just take the ball off him. Pinch off the ceiling. Arju can't reach it. Full stretch, and Speed will just try and delay Endpoint. Nice catch. Here comes the demo. He's actually able to slip through two. Slows it down. Change of pace. Cooksier cuts left, but Relating Wave able to make the adjustment. Not done yet. Endpoint into the middle. Here's Nachito. Just misses the left-hand post. And Arju just pokes it into his corner. Finds the continuation touch. And Cooksier sniffing everything out coming out of the goal.
That's just a big facepalm moment. A good opportunity opened up for Endpoint. For Nachito, almost had the opportunity. Now more space, finally. He can find the back of the net. And Endpoint do some more, fancy maneuvering to finally open up some space. Virtuoso going for the bump, but Cooksier jumped in.
That's a tight read to try and make. Cooksier, I think, expecting that ball to drop straight down. It came up away a little bit from the wall, and so he didn't have the right read. Missed the ball. Nachito uncontested. Able to turn in a big equalizer. Virtuoso trying to change the pace up a little bit with the slow air dribble. Cooksier, continuation touch, able to make the adjustment. Virtuoso racing back. Cooksier missed the boost steal, unfortunately. So much less pressure here about to happen for Mouz. Triple commit from Endpoint. Cooksier has the time to come back through. Here comes Arju now off the backboard. Relating Wave, bomb of a clear over the head of everyone, but Cooksier back in time.
A lovely recovery on the side of Endpoint. They did have a triple commit. You can see Relating Wave and Virtuoso also doing great with 50s, but almost, wait, is that an own goal? He could have saved that.
He definitely could have saved that. Speed, quick dismount from the wall. Definitely beats the defense, but you're 100% correct. Virtuoso just got a little bit too far in front of the ball, and instead of hitting it off the nose, sort of skims off the hood and goes right off the post, and in the worst luck possible, right into his goal.
It's so frustrating to watch on the side of Endpoint because, I feel like I can say this with agreements from everybody watching that Endpoint, they have so much potential, a lot of what it takes. It's just little moments like that, but then they're shooting. They're making up for it. Nachito in the top corner.
He refused to go away. Great
there we
pass.
go.
So, talk about under pressure. Just slide it left. Here you go, Nachito. Bang. Top left. They're looking to try and get it back off the kickoff, but Speed, we'll see if he can have another big play and just have Mousesports win 3 straight. Cooksier sizing up the clear. Excellent stuff. Doesn't even hit the ceiling. Puts Virtuoso in a weird spot. Here comes Speed, bouncing to the middle, taken away by Endpoint's own teammates. And Cooksier for Arju, maybe Speed, dropping it down towards the wall. There he slows down. Arju, Cooksier can't get it. Arju misses the follow-up. A little bit of miscommunication from Mousesports. Maybe if that attack had been a little more well-layered, maybe they get the dunk. But either way, Endpoint able to survive and force a second overtime in a row. Kick straight into the middle.
I'm impressed from that save from Nachito. He had to get some kind of a touch there as Mousesports almost got the second buzzer beater of the series. Now we head into overtime. And you can see, Mousesports, they're playing with something to win here. They've got chances at top 4. Endpoint are just trying to really play for, I guess, pride moments here, as they've got, still a lot to offer here for RLCS. And Virtuoso and Nachito, all these guys have done so well in the season. Let's see how they handle this overtime.
So there's a pass to Virtuoso, shot off target. Relating Wave already sizing up the challenge. Virtuoso going to give way for Nachito. Relating Wave off grabbing boost. Not many options here, so they go for the delay and the demo. Virtuoso into the middle. He's got him off the backboard, and that's into the left-hand side. Nice bit of pass and go from Endpoint, and they will force Game 5.
Virtuoso putting it on target, but then it gets blocked out, and I love the rotation that Virtuoso does. After he lands, he recovers on the backboard and heads up the wall to receive a pass. That type of initiation and I guess run that he makes on the offensive side of the field is what makes a great shooter. Virtuoso off the backboard, a difficult shot. And Endpoint, they managed to squeak out a win here after even an own goal. So that was a good recovery from them, to say the least.
Absolutely. That is a tough game to battle back from, especially when it's that it's the go-ahead goal with, you know, what, 40 seconds on the clock?
Yeah.
And you just mistouch the ball. And they make the adjustments. Virtuoso and Nachitao combine for the equalizer. Great bit of passing from Endpoint towards the end of that game, and a very well-deserved win, because that was a fantastic play from everybody on the pitch here in Game 4. A lot of fun. Speed with another 600-point game. Virtuoso hitting 760+. So
Yeah.
a big series for everybody on the pitch here.
Yeah, and I've been impressed with Team Endpoint because I feel like they're doing exactly what they need to do in terms of having a clean series. They could definitely pick it up a lot more on the defensive side with those, obviously, the own goals, a bit of a triple commit we saw here and there. But when it comes to being on offense and exploiting a lot of those mistakes that Mousesports are making with Arju, you know, being the newcomer in this three-man rotation, they're doing a great job of being there at the right moment when they need to capitalize off of mistakes.
And they went from the goal line to the other team's goal. Well done from Endpoint to force Game 5 as Game 5 or whatever. Force Game 5. Let's start it. Champions Field. Let's go.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Speed. Already under a bit of pressure. Awkward ball to handle here. And Floating Wave actually going to do Mouse a favor with that second touch. Definitely unintentional, but it does buy time. Speed with RG to his left. Virtuoso going to read the pass. Continuation touch, Relating Wave into the corner. Virtuoso going to stretch with no boost, and Mouz looking for the pinch, unable to find it. Great touch off the uncontested backboard. Virtuoso, can he get it himself? One more hit up, and Cooks here finally able to get a read on the play. Pops up and kicks it out.
From the beginning, Endpoint looking so threatening, and now Virtuoso, he's getting involved. There's that three-man play that we've seen a lot, not only in the rival series, but now in RLCS, where Virtuoso goes in for the demo, and then you've got Relating Wave with the finish. Nachitao has a nice pass out. This is a routine performance from them as they can keep the pressure on.
Speed doesn't execute the flick properly, and gives the ball right back. Arju will find him again off the ceiling. He's got the flip, and there he goes right towards the ceiling as it was met by Endpoint right as he came at him. And that's the right time, because you really got to meet people quick when they come off those sidewalls with the shots off the ceiling and the flip resets. And once you start giving them time, that's when you really open the door to disaster. So well done from Endpoint to close the gap quickly. Virtuoso tries to lay one into the left-hand side. Speed dives across, and Mousesports trying to find a clear here with Endpoint pressing. And two people caught in the same corner. Arju with the right idea, just air dribble it out of their own half. Gets a fake flip reset, puts Virtuoso in a tough spot, and did he bump him? Did Speed get a piece?
I think so, but look at this flip out from Arju. He didn't even touch it. The fake flip reset as Speed tries to hunt down Virtuoso. He got a little touch. You're right, Achieves. He got just a tiny bit of him, and that's all it takes to throw the defense off, throw that save completely out the window. And what a play from Arju.
Mousesports quick transition again with the opener on the first goal, but there's two demos. One in the midfield, one on the Mouse spot side. Speed, glad that one of those demos was on Endpoint, because somebody should have been waiting right there for it. And Cooks here very narrowly own goaling as he missed that first challenge trying to make the adjustment, almost took it away from Arju. And Mouse under a ton of pressure. Relating Wave just can't quite beat out Cooks here. Virtuoso for Nachitao, the bump comes through, and Relating Wave is in charge of buying time. Free ball in midfield, Nachitao. Right side, missing, Relating Wave. Virtuoso, slow shot, and Speed transitions with Arju.
The vision was there, the pass came out. It's that final shot, and now they've got opportunities on the other side. Mousesports, a great pass down from Cook. Speed. Does he have the finish off the post? Everything looking so lights out for Mousesports.
Excellent saves. Virtuoso with a pre-jump. Arju leading him out of the corner. Cooks here is going to need some help from Speed here. Actually, he's able to get the block himself. Don't know how he managed to cover that much distance. Relating Wave dropped down for Virtuoso. No help, though, and Speed on Arju figure out who's going to get the clear. Relating Wave camped out on the sidewall. Endpoint trying to box in Mouse as much as possible off of their own sidewall. Cooks here, uncontested, double tap, and that's a miss off the crossbar. 2-goal lead with just under 2 minutes.
Cooks here, I mean, you can tell this is just a veteran read. Virtuoso didn't see the bounce coming off the crossbar. Meanwhile, Cooks here, he knows 100% where that ball is going to be, where it's going to land, and he just plops right down on top of it. Virtuoso having a difficult time making the read as now Mousesports get some security here in Game 5, still fighting for a chance at top 4 in the season.
Endpoint, unfortunately, earlier on in the series, lost a 2-goal lead with just a little time on the clock. Are they able to mount the 2-goal comeback here? Starts with Virtuoso, actually decided to conserve his boost because he knew he didn't have much. Looking for the bumps, and he won't be able to get a piece of Arju. Nachito, slow play out of the corner. Actually makes Cooks here get a bit of a weak touch off the wheels. Arju's just waiting so patiently in that goal line. That being said, he has been a little bit antsy throughout the series when it's got under pressure.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that's something that they definitely have communicated to Arju most likely because, you know, as that new sub, it's easy to panic. It's easy to get antsy on that back line and force a lot of mistakes, go for a lot of double commits. So Speed and Cooks here doing a good job of communicating, you can tell. And Arju, even here, you can see his perspective. He's staying back and being so passive with his positioning just to make sure he doesn't disrupt anything that Speed and Cooks are trying to get at.
Arju almost able to find the bump on Virtuoso and secure Game 5, but time becomes more and more of a factor. Cooks here cuts a pass out. Time ticking. Relating wave needs a little boost. Nachito tries to get it to him. Speed, who's been just so quick all series long. Another 600-point game for him here.
Oh, Speed
Cooks
there.
Here to Speed, top right-hand corner, and Mousesports are going to clutch it out in 5. Speed with a 700-point game.
We've been waiting for Speed and Cooks here this series to pop off, and they have not disappointed. Everything so clean right now from Mousesports. The passing, the shooting. We expected Speed and Cooks to come here and do their thing and make sure that they don't disrupt Arju. That's exactly what happened here. There's no real saving this series right now for Endpoint, and Mousesports look to take it.
An excellent series from both teams. Unfortunately, Endpoint, despite playing some fantastic defense, the turning point was the Cooksier pinch in Game 3. And from there on out, battle back and forth, but Mousesports absolutely turned on the aggression and Speed with probably one of the best series he's ever had. I think 4 out of 5 games, he was over 600 score.
A huge standout performance for Speed, you're right. And I think that you also have to hand it to Arju, though, because while Speed and Cooks here were doing, you know, most of the heavy lifting, Arju really did a great job of just fitting into the rotation, which is something that I was worried about. You know, there were like maybe 2 or 3 plays, right, where he was out of position. And I think that's, you know, we can give him that. We can give him that, you know, leeway of, okay, you can make these mistakes here and there, but so long as you can fit your rotation in, not make mistakes and stop double committing and just make sure you're not panicking as much, then you're doing your job and you're doing it well for the sub in, because it's really up to Speed and Cooks then to do the rest of the work, and they did that beautifully. This was a great 3-way effort, and Speed, you know, like you said, really the highlight player.
Yeah, I think Arju, I definitely agree with you, had a fantastic series overall. At first, really fitting in nicely with the aggression, but he understood, you know, look, Cooksier and Speed are having a great series. Just go do your thing, and I'll just make sure not to have anything go too wrong. So excellent series overall from Mousesports. They close it out in Game 5. Endpoint, unfortunately, will finish their season at 2-8, so a rough go for them. But that's not all we have for Rocket League today. Coming up next, Barcelona versus TSM, and when we come back, we will continue with the European RLCS.